morning. We are now going to the London Book Fair again. I am going to corner the bookseller and pray that my announcement is in it. Let's go. I am in and I'm heading to the bookseller and I am praying, manifesting, and all positive energy that I have that it's going to be in it. It has to be. It has to be today. They said at the beginning of this week, come on bookseller, I want to announce my fucking book.
Oh, there we are.
It's not there. It's not in the bookseller. Damn. We try tomorrow. Can we take a moment to appreciate all of the incredible books that my publisher has released? I cannot believe that one day my book might be sitting on a shelf with all of these incredible authors. Alright, we are going through to Author HQ now. And I'm actually going to see if I can get a seat today because it was quite busy by the end of the day yesterday.
So I have a personal conflict and of course in 2-year-old published by Walker Books.
Author writing shortlist is The Door of No Return by Kwame Alexander, published by Anderson Press.
The shortlist is 2 really exciting shortlists there.
Cover design, and I know that lots of your books have been out for a long time, and they might have different looks and feels. Definitely, Sasha, I'm sure your romantasy has a very different feel from your non-fiction writing. What tools do you use? How do you approach cover design? You said you do a lot of research. I'll start with you, Sasha.
Yeah, so there are various people who are very good with data and analytics, and they provide reports that you can buy that basically scour markets and what's selling. So I use a lot of those reports. I do go into bookshops as well and look at what's selling, and then I look in my categories. For me, it's all about making sure that my cover looks as though it fits in that genre, but also has a little something that makes it stand out.
It's sporadic. I had no cash, so I would buy an iStock image for 50 quid, and my friend was a designer and hash it together. Say, do 4 designs, and I used to stand in the Tesco's book department and say, which one do you prefer to readers?
You've got your book, you've got your cover, it's ready to go. Let's imagine you had a new book launching next week. What would be your first approach in terms of kind of marketing and thinking about getting it into the hands of readers? I'll start with you, Nicola.
I create an advanced team to help me. That's the first thing. But because I write in like lesbian romantasy, it's a very niche audience. So for me, the whole thing is how do I reach those readers? So I spend time posting in like niche specific Facebook groups. I also have a TikTok, and that does drive the majority of my traffic and my sales, so I spend a lot of time marketing on TikTok. But also importantly, I market to my existing readers as well, so my mailing list is my most prized possession, and I often get my street team, those readers who are extra loyal and want to help you launch, so I do those kinds of things as well.
Much information out there about social media and how we're using it, and it doesn't really seem like there's a kind of magic formula or one-size-fits-all approach, but I wonder if each of you can kind of talk a little bit about how you use social media, how you engage with your readers outside of your sales on Amazon.
It's simple as well. You're really looking, oh my god, they're doing all these things. I mean, I just started on Twitter in 2011 when I first published and started talking to people and following people in my genre and publishers, and it's kind of building up chatting to people really simply. TikTok again, I feel it is for younger people. I know I shouldn't be ageist. I can't do it anymore. It's too much work for me. And I did pay a considerable amount of money to do a TikTok campaign because Colleen Hoover was doing so well. I didn't get 1 book sale. I think maybe I chose the wrong book because it was a book that was new. I should have maybe chosen Corner Shop. I've really learned from that. I'm still learning all the time. So my chosen for a rom-com author, because I think it will be different for every genre, is Facebook, and it's Facebook groups. There's so many different romance groups that I belong to, so every time a book comes out I will put it in the groups. And it's as simple as that.
And do you get feedback from those groups as well directly, or is it just that
You have to be involved. People don't just want you posting, they like you to chat. So I kind of put questions, or maybe say to someone, I need a dog's name for a little terrier, what do you reckon? Just be involved with people in a friendly way. And I have always vowed, and sometimes it gets a bit much, that every single person who emails me or Instagrams me, I will reply immediately.
Yeah, I mean, so the first thing to say is that TikTok is really like a microcosm of publishing. So I would say 50 to 70% of my views on TikTok come from backlist videos. And then if you start missing days, it's not really going to work for you. I post every single day, 3 times a day. And when I say that, people are like, oh my goodness me. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Because it's the way you approach TikTok. So it takes me less than 15 minutes a day, and it generates a ton of sales. So the reason that I love TikTok is because it's basically free advertising at the moment. So if you look at Instagram, 90% of the people that actually see your posts are your followers. So as an author, it's much more important that you are the brand, you are the personality on Instagram, because people will watch your videos, they get to learn you. On TikTok, if you look at the analytics, 90% of the people who see your videos are not following you. That essentially makes it like a Facebook ad, because you are just getting impressions and views from people who are potential readers. So much as I hate it, I don't make TikTok about me, I make it purely about the books, and I hard market on there. So every single video I post has my books in there, and every single video has some kind of hook. And basically I just constantly push out marketing videos on there, and I'll do that until they bring in and sort of reduce the organic juice by bringing in advertising, basically, and then I'll pivot and do something else.
the time and the, like, how much time would you say you spend on the business of being an author and the marketing versus the writing?
Probably 5% of marketing for me, but I get up really early, so I do all my marketing, all my posting about 6 in the morning before I do anything. And if you do a good hour a day, I think that's enough. And people say, well, how do I find the time? Well, you make time really. And
The first thing I do is never go to Goodreads, but I do send my virtual assistant to Goodreads. So once I hit 100 reviews on there, I send her there and I make her read every single review and give me a summary. And I'm like, okay, I want to know, like, in a censored version so that I don't cry myself to sleep, what the main takeaways were, and then I will let that influence what I do in the next series. So for example, one of the comments in my first series was around, we're not sure about this blend of world building, because I had some modern with some sort of medieval, and so I changed it up for the next series. Now everybody's raving about how good the world building is, so I let it influence what I do so that I deliver what the readers want, because they're buying the book. So that's the first thing I do. The second thing is, readers love to be appreciated, so I will reply to every single comment I get on TikTok without exception. I will often reply, like if somebody's written something quirky on TikTok, I will reply to that comment with a video, and then they get tagged in it and get to see that I have sort of appreciated what they've said, and I'm sharing that. I will share reader quotes. Again, I love my sister do this because Goodreads is scary, but she will give me the odd quote from Goodreads. I'll share that in my newsletter. I've often had those specific readers come back and go, oh my goodness me, thank you so much, like that made my day, and I'm like, your review made my day, so this is mutual appreciation. And then I will, lift them, I'll share them on Instagram, I'll put them everywhere. So I try and let them know that I do see what they do and that I appreciate, everybody who takes the time to leave those reviews. It's really important.
Really nice panel full of some honestly great advice for mostly KDP authors, and once again I just feel very grateful that I appear to be doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. But now I am going to nip downstairs and go and see my wonderful agent who literally changed my life. I owe her so much. Kira. Skulking around the France publishing tables to see if I can send anyone in the direction of my foreign rights agent by impressing them with my French. some free shit. That's nice. Let's see what it is. She said it is a dark academia thriller called The Four by Ellie Keel. Very nice. And they also gave me a little tote bag. That's me come out of the book fair, and I am now heading to lunch with my friend Alex. It's going to be so nice to catch up, but I feel like a complete idiot because my mum reminded me yesterday that I bought him something in Orlando from the Star Wars area because he loves Star Wars, and I forgot to bring it with me. Okay, heading back to the book fair now. After a very quick Greggs. I do love a yum yum. If anyone knows the difference between a yum yum and a donut, other than just like the shape, let me know. But thankfully the weather is staying dry, so walking around is not nearly as much of a hassle as it was yesterday. And let's go and see what's on the cards for the afternoon. I do think I'm meeting my UK editor just to say hi quickly. So not sure what time because she's probably in meetings, but I'll try and find her.
If they'd just told the story of me, like a 6-foot redhead who sounds like she's just fallen out of Downton Abbey. Instead, how can we chart a course towards a more inclusive and representative literary world, particularly when those words are being weaponised so much in the press, in a way that is truly meaningful, and far less that than was parodied in Yellowface in American fiction, and ensures that every voice finds its rightful place within the pages that shape our culture.
All of the panels, mostly they were white, well, like 99% were white, they were all middle class, and they could all, with discussions I found out that they were all travelling on their own coin, so they were paying for transport, they were paying for hotels, they could afford to have a day off work. Maybe they weren't even working because they didn't have to work. So I was like, okay, these panels of people are the same people, and the audience are seeing the same people talking about the same things. Horrendously boring, right, for everybody, for writers and for readers. So I just thought, okay, I put out on social media, we need a festival of our own. And I kind of waited for somebody to put their hand up and go, yeah, I'll do it. And everyone just looked at me and said, oh, go on then.
So I'd written a book, it was called Think Like a White Man. It was a satire, it was fairly good, someone's read it here, so thank you. But I couldn't find a deal. So the agent's situation just didn't work for me as light spirits. I just kept, so I said to so many agents, and some of them would say, come back to me and say, write more like a comedian. I wasn't getting the bite that I needed to really get on. Get on, get up, and get on, get in, and get up. It wasn't really working for me. So I thought, let me go to London Book Fair. There I'll do it. I'll find somebody who will give me a chance there. And I walked around this whole building, time after time after time, just handing my manuscript to anybody who would listen to me. It was so humiliating. And then when I walked out, it's not cheap to come here on your own dime too. And then, so when I walked out there that day, I thought to myself that I will find a way to get on in this business sooner or later. And I would never let somebody else go through what I went through today, or go through the hazing process that I went through. But I had to make sure, as I've done in my previous careers elsewhere, to make sure they were creating opportunities for other people to get in, to get on, to get up. You know.
Social media content, we live and breathe in the digital world now, and I think looking at making sure that we have access. Give access to everyone in all of those spaces is so important. And so what I mean by that, when we talk about digital accessibility and giving that inclusion and that access, is making sure that everyone, despite their reading requirements, is able to access that content. So, to give an example of where that's not happening, 95% of websites are not accessible, which to me is incredible, absolutely incredible. So if you go onto 20 websites, one of those you might be able to navigate as, say, you are a screen reader user or you use magnification. And so it's absolutely crazy. And so we look at that from a kind of web content point of view, but then also from when we're looking at digital books, so ebooks and journals and things like this, making sure that those stories and that level of education is being made accessible to those that need it. So again, what do I mean by that? So people who have vision loss or low vision, people who need to use what we call text-to-speech or screen reader technology like me. people who use magnification, people who have neurodivergence, so people with ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia. There are literally millions of, let's use the word, customers out there who could be accessing that content and who potentially are not accessing that content. And so, you know, they may not have, you know, a beautiful guide dog like this who can read stuff to them like I do. That was a joke, by the way. You would be amazed at how many times I'm asked if the dog can read the bus stop. No, she cannot. So, I access all my content. She does many things. But I access all my content, you know, she'll guide me along, and I've got an audiobook playing in one ear, or I'm on my phone reading an ebook through text-to-speech, and I'm able to do that because the ebook has been made accessible. So it's been laid out well, it's been tagged, it's reflowable, it has alt text, so image descriptions, and also importantly, the platform that it's on is accessible as well. Because let's look at that 95% or, you know, web pages inaccessible. You can absolutely believe that there are some beautifully accessible books out there, and they are on completely no-go platforms. And so the whole ecosystem has to be designed so that everyone can access it. It has to be inclusive.
So at the beginning of that talk was so good. We were talking about diversity and representation, black male authors, visually impaired authors, working class authors, and then very randomly, like, there was one little presentation on how the fact that the publishing industry is very women-dominated, female-dominated, and it's kind of going like, it's almost as if they were trying to say it's going the wrong way because we're forgetting about men, but we're like, publishing is just one industry. Like, if you look at every other industry, like, we can guarantee you that the figures go the other way. So yeah, it's a bigger discussion to be had, but yeah, oh my god, the vibe in the room when they said that changed instantly. We did not, like, a room full of women being told that we need to remember the men. We were literally just like yes, we want to be equal, but that should go across industries, not just within one. Okay, I'm now heading down the stairs to meet my editor, Alexa. And I've seen her from up on the balcony. She's in the Hachette area, and I don't know if they're going to let me in because I'm an author without an appointment. And they're quite big on you, like, it's good, like, if you're an editor or an agent, like, they don't want unsigned authors, like, disturbing editors, which I get. But yeah, she's in here somewhere. Let me see if I can, I don't know if I can just go in. Let me see. Good morning everyone, and welcome to the last day, day 3 of the London Book Fair, and I am saying goodbye to this lovely Airbnb. I'm not gonna lie, I would stay here again. It's very clean, it's very quiet, the people who own the house are genuinely lovely and so accommodating. I don't have a bad word to say about it, honestly. I will actually link it below if anyone wishes to book. It really wasn't that expensive. For central London, like, given there's a tube stop 10 minutes away, like, it's not expensive at all. It's a book fair, and I'm gonna see if my book is in the bookseller, but at this point, I'm not holding out hope. So I just got handed a copy of the bookseller. Let's see if I'm inside. So it's not in the daily sheet, but the announcement has come out and I'm so excited. So it's out on their website. I'm actually going to the bookseller to see if I'm, like, missing something, just in case. I'm here anyway, I might as well. But I'm so excited. I need to get on my socials now and tell everyone and post about it.
And tell our stories. How do we remember ourselves if people are out there and it's like cookery books? That's also important, because how do you know, culture is passed on through, you know, our culinary experiences, right? So no book is irrelevant. And more than ever, when we are seeing these conversations taking place today, whatever the case may be, or however the conversations transpire, they are all important, because I feel like they're helping us to figure out a sense of, you know, a sense of self. So there'll be a range of conversations happening.
These wise words from the late Maya Angelou resonate with every woman in this room, and indeed every woman everywhere. They have resonated with me since my early days in the publishing business. For years I carried the spirit of these words quietly, grappling with unanswered questions about the industry I came to love and admire. Witnessing the challenges faced by women, the constraints imposed by a legacy mindset and practice, I realized that the burden was too heavy for one soul and the legacy too deeply rooted to be untangled with just two hands.
Speaking on that, our first panel or keynote discussion for the day will be one that I think kind of sets the tone and follows on from everything that Badua has mentioned. CEOs in publishing, women pioneering the pages. So we're about to have a conversation that's moderated by Emma House, who's the founder of Aurum Group.
Background of publicity and promotions and all of that. And so I sent them a telegram and said, please don't hire anybody, at least until you see me. So that was the first thing I learned, is I invested $7.50 to make that telegram. So you should always invest in yourself. 7 children, then there were no real books. Everything was coming from England, thank you, but there was nothing coming out of Australia. And so I realized when I first read the first book, where it had somebody who was like me, little, you know, where the sun shone at Christmas and we didn't have to put Santa snow on the windows. I realized that when you read a book and you're reflected in it, your community, your society, you feel validated, but you also feel befriended, and you start on a journey of reading. And once you do that, you realize that in publishing there is a great power that we all have, and we need to embrace that power. And that's the power of communication and of sending words across the ocean and around the world.
But you know, we have directors, people who are actually running the company, signing checks, who are women. And actually, when you sign checks for a company, you are empowered, I find. So certainly, it has changed my my thinking.
Yes.
And you know, it's helped a lot because we are growing very fast. So clearly, having women in leadership positions, I think it brings in a new dynamic into the company, and I think it really helps grow it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, I think it's definitely improved. I think in the past there was a lot of discrimination against women. There was gender discrimination, racial discrimination, age discrimination. And I think a lot of women have faced that. Certainly I have faced that. But I feel that, you know, if one speaks up, which I would at every stage, I would make a noise about it, I would go public. And I think that's the only way. If we are given a voice, or even if not given a voice, if you just stand up and be counted, I think it helps not just, it helped not just me, but it helped others as well. So I think that's very important, to not take it lying down. But I do feel that things have improved a lot for women, particularly in Pakistan. I find that, again, there aren't enough women in leadership positions as I would like, but it's beginning to happen.
Okay, my brain is a mess today. I have no idea what I'm doing on this vlog because I'm in and out of social media, replying to messages and reposting stuff and planning when the announcement's going out, and it's all good things. But I'm actually now heading out to lunch with my cousin Rebecca. She lives in London. We never really get to catch up, and we're just going around the corner to a restaurant, so heading there now. It's enormous! Back at the book fair for the last couple of hours before I need to head to the airport, and I'm going to talk in the tech theatre about marketing romance, so hopefully that'll be helpful.
You go up, right? And we can kind of think about it as a call and response platform. You can create really easily on there.
Contact with content creators to help market their books. So our content.
Okay, I am now heading back to the Airbnb. I have left the book fair. I feel like today's filming has been all over the place because of the announcement. But if you've made it all the way to the end of this vlog, please give it a thumbs up, leave a friendly comment, let me know if you enjoyed it. and I hope you're ready for all of the book news that is to come.